want to start, Matt, asking, you come from kind of the school of Harmon a little bit.
Yes.
That's part of the background.
Oh, yeah.
And I can see some of that in the show a little bit, but talk a little bit about how his ideas about story and breaking story in that room, in those rooms, helps inform how you approach a series.
Totally. I mean, the Harmon approach is my foundation for everything. My first job was on Community, and then went over to Rick and Morty, and I've woven in and out of his world over the years. So the Harmon story circle and just the hero's journey is the classic approach to how I like to tell a story. I think what I've brought to it that is a little more unique to my style is a little more emotion. I think sometimes the Rick and Morty stories, which are great and everyone loves them, can be very fast-paced and intellectual. And I like a story that maybe is a little more predictable in its movement, but includes harder emotional choices, where you're a little more rooted in the characters than in like the craziness of the world.
Yeah, I'm curious to hear. Maybe we'll start here. Like, there's a family element. There's a mortality element certainly in this series, and you're playing with family loss and concepts of death a little bit. And I'm curious how that kind of informs the characterization.
Well, it's kind of, Catherine just gets thrown into it. Mm-hmm. She doesn't know that she's about to embark upon some spiritual journey. Yeah. So I feel that, everything in the show, with like the set, everything, it's like everything's a character and everything is so beautifully macabre that it really helps. I don't know, it helps enrich the entire, at least the characters, my character.
Jimmy, there's rules that we learn as we go, right? Like when we jump into this, we don't know how anything works. Like why some people can die, some people can't. So, can you talk a little bit about learning that as you're reading scripts and getting into the character and like embracing the world?
Yeah, it just speaks on what Matt was saying. There is such a level of depth to this like chaos and hilarity. And so, for instance, Rick and Morty is amazing at pointing out the existential realities and how effed up the world truly is. And we get to all just lean in that and live there. But this, with Haunted Hotel, there is that emotional center that it's almost like an answer to all the chaos.
Yeah.
Which is such a lovely feeling to be a part of, because it's so wild. And yeah, beds are burning and there's ghosts and people are possessed. But it ultimately comes down to like human reality. So everything always just comes back to reality in a way that doesn't seem trite. It's not, you haven't really seen it before. So I was always surprised each episode at the way they were able to stick the landing.
When you think about a series like this, do you think about long-term, like, where are we going to go? Like, what do I want to see if I get multiple seasons? And, like, are you really trying to I know how hard just getting into the first one, getting a first season, everything's a battle and a challenge, but you're at this point now where maybe you can start to look forward and say, what would I love to see happen here?
Sure. I like evolving the characters. I want to see them grow and change. I'm less interested in complex mythology. I find the shows where, like, I watch a lot of them, but if you need to watch 10 episodes to understand this episode, I'm sometimes lost. So I think throughout the entire journey of this, like, of course, enrich the characters, learn more about them. They do things in season 7 that we would not predict in season 1, but you can also just watch that episode.
It's interesting you say that because, again, this is about a family, and one of the things we don't have a lot in TV anymore is that ability to just drop in and learn lessons about families and how they interact. And I'm curious how you all feel. It seems like you guys have a really warm feeling about doing that on this show. Do you guys have any thoughts? Kind of a last question on that idea.
Well, I could respond to, Jimmy, what you were calling out about, like, how things, like, feel very emotional in the show. Something I thought about going into this is, like, a sci-fi show like Rick and Morty. Like, sci-fi is in a world where, like, the universe is infinite and multi and nothing matters. There's a nihilism to a lot of sci-fi.
Right.
And I think horror as a genre is often the exact opposite, where, like, the reason you're cursed is because your grandma read the book, and so it lives in a world where everything matters. It's kind of the opposite of the nihilism of sci-fi, and so I think that's something fun to lean into in horror. Like, it doesn't need to feel trite. It's just like, no, we're a family and we'll make it through this together, because that's kind of how horror often works.
That's beautifully said. I have to wrap. Thank you guys so much for taking time. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.